Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and as promised, I am here today to talk about my American Horror Story spin-off pitch. And I just came up with this randomly. That's how it happens. When I was just thinking about, watching the show again, thinking about all the other shows that I could watch, and, I just can't help but thinking of new ideas and thinking of, or just better ideas. Like, I'll think about, that one show. I wish they'd have done that. I wish they'd have done that, all the time. Because so many shows nowadays, they end so fast. And it's like, it's such a shame because you look back on all these shows and you just see the wasted potential. Like, for instance, there's a show called Hell on Wheels. And that was a very popular show, somewhat, when it was airing. And then it kind of petered down because the shows got more and more terrible. There was this great YouTube channel that I used to watch. I can't remember their name. But it was just these two guys. They'd be on Skype video call, and they would review Hell on Wheels. And it was so funny because they were kind of like an inspiration to me as well as a YouTuber, because they were just so savage. Like, I didn't even need to make any Hell on Wheels videos because they destroyed the show. Like, they disappeared for a couple of years, and then they came back and they destroyed it even more, destroyed the final season. And it's such a shame because that show, it had so much potential. It could have gone on for like a couple more seasons. It could have done so much more, so many more better storylines than what they ended up doing. And it's just like sad. It's like you'll never get these actors again because most of the time these actors, they want to move on unless they're people who are a part of like a really popular show like X-Files or something. Now, my idea is based on something that I talked about in Season 4. I said, in Season 4, I loved Season 4 for the most part, except for the shitty ending and the shitty couple final episodes. And, excuse me, sorry. The one thing that I said was that even though this season is supposed to be all about the Freakshow, and it's supposed to be all about these people at this carnival and everything, it's not even about that. It's about this other character who's like a quote-unquote human freak, and that is Dandy Mott. He is the most popular character. He basically, the show, it could have been called the Dandy Mott Show. And that's when I thought of it. Wait a second. What if there was a Dandy Mott Show? I mean, I said in my review, I could have watched a whole series with just him, just his character, like a full-on series, 1,000 episodes, fucking a million things happening. I could watch that show. So why not do it, and do it really in an insanely outrageous way, and have a bunch of cool fucking things happen that you would love to see happen with Dandy Mott from Season 4, even though he's dead. He died at the end of the season in a interesting kind of anticlimactic way, because you never got to see him perform, which was a huge flaw. I mean, the whole season was about building up to him performing, and then he never gets to perform. Like, even early on in the season, he's doing this little puppet show, and you never even see him, like, perform. And it's kind of irritating. It's like they purposefully, I don't know, it was weird. Here's my idea, though. And my title is American Horror Story, The Dandy Mott Show. The tagline would be, Dandy Mott times 3. What if there was a secret cloning facility in Florida around this area which cloned him secretly and specifically? Even though he was born from an incestual affair, which I don't think the scientists would know that, these scientists, they think that this guy is like the epitome of perfection. They think that he is a perfect human being. They think that he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the world. Like, they just think he is the perfect guy. Because let's be honest, that's what Ryan Murphy thought of him. That's what these scientists think about him. It's fitting. And this would take place after season 4. I don't know how long, because that would be a lot more detailed of a pitch, and I'd have to be like outlining the show to be doing that kind of thing. Maybe a year or 2 or something. I don't know. Something happens, and 3 Dandy clones get out of their pods. They see that all the other Dandy Mott clones are dead. The scientists are all dead. The facility has just been completely destroyed somehow. I was kind of picturing like at the beginning of Fallout video games where, you're in a vault and you get out and everything is just destroyed. Because that's what would happen in these Fallout games, is that like these vaults were pieces of trash, and they would all just completely go to the trash can, and then everyone in it would die, including like the leaders, like the overseer. And so I'm thinking, like, take that, but with the cloning facility, and these 3 Dandy clones escape. Now, the first Dandy Mott clone, he is exactly like how he was in season 4, personality-wise. The twist is that he has hands the size of a toddler's. So it would be really, really hilarious to see, him trying to be this mass murderer that he was in season 4, but he's got these fucking little tiny hands, and it's like so hard to do. It's like, it's another thing is that it's also like an interesting parallel to Lobster Boy from season 4, who had to struggle with his huge lobster hands. So it's kind of like the opposite of that, but for this other character. And, they were supposed to be arch enemies after all. So it's really like, I think, poetic and really good dramatic irony. The second Dandy is a really eccentric but talented performer. He's the performer that the original Dandy wanted to be. He starts his own freak show in the same place the other one was, but struggles to build his show despite his talent. And basically what I would want to happen is, in order to explain away his death, I would want the 3 Dandy clones to pick from straw. And whoever wins gets to get all the money and claim the name, and the other 2 have to, basically leech off of him and use different names and become new people. And the one who would get the money and the fame would, of course, be the psychopath one from season 4. But he would still be helping out the talented performer clone, and the third guy, it's complicated, but they like each other because they're narcissists, and they're all a reflection of each other. So it would only make sense that if there were 3 Dandies, that if one of them could help the others, he would. The third Dandy is just a normal guy. He's just this normal guy who wants a normal life. He doesn't really care about any of this stuff. He's just like, I don't know. I want to go find a job somewhere at a store or something. I want to go help people in a park. I don't know, like, he's just so normal that it's kind of hilarious that, this actor playing this version of this character, he would be so mundane and boring and be happy with it, because that was the whole, like, motivation of Dandy in season 4, was that he was bored. He was so rich he was bored. And, like, well, what if you have this guy who's just, like, he loves being bored. He loves just being this boring guy from the 50s or 40s, whatever. He just loves, like, going to work and coming home. And so he's completely different. Now, ironically, he works his way up the ladder to where at the end of season 1, he gets nominated for President of the United States. The twist with him is that his opponent in the race, in the presidential race, is a witch. A real witch. And I would say that season 2 would follow his presidential race against her and the other disastrous consequences for witches in general by the end of the season, probably. And I would just think, like, in the American Horror Story universe, there had to have been at some point a witch who tried to run for president. And it would end really badly. I would want types of scenes like this in season 2. And so this was where I kind of got carried away, because I should have just only been talking about season 1. So let's say Dandy 3 is secretly recorded talking to his campaign manager. They do something really stupid, and he throws a temper tantrum and does the I hate you, I hate you, I hate you thing. Now, the recording of that is leaked to the public, but it actually gives this campaign a boost, and everyone in America likes him because he told off this incompetent employee. And they start shouting, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, at his rallies. They start wearing shirts with buttons that say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Like, I hate you, China. I hate you, terrorism. Like, that's the time. that would be a little too far, but I mean, just something like that. I would want the main villain of season 1 to be the second Dandy's strongman. Now, he would find a strongman to be in his Freakshow, and I would want him to be played by someone who's worked with Evan Peters before. Because I was thinking about, who would I want to be in an American Horror Story season, like real actors, not like, Kim Kardashian. But that person would be Aaron Taylor Johnson. He is a ruthless strongman. He is the villain that the one in season 4 did not end up being. He does everything he can to sabotage and frame the second Dandy for being a failure. He even terrorizes and kills a group of children who sneak into the funhouse at night to make the freaks, including himself, look bad. He doesn't even care. And then it kind of backfires when he does it. He does this on Halloween night, including putting on a costume and performing to these kids to lure them in and kill them. Now, the problem with that is that, in this universe, you do not perform on Halloween because Edward Mordrake comes for you. Well, instead, he comes, but also all the characters from season 4 mostly. Jessica Lange comes, Twisty the Clown, all the others come back to get a soul of a freak. Now, Jessica Lange, this is kind of the interesting part where you could explore the afterlife world of this universe, but it's only going to be a hint of it. So Jessica Lange's character, she really wants to take this guy's soul. She thinks, like, I just can't wait to fucking stab the shit out of you and get your soul, extract your soul. But Edward forces her to resist, and it's like, how is it that, like, she's this otherworldly being now, but she has this human emotion and this human desire to want to, take this guy's soul? Like, Edward Mordrake, he didn't have any judgment. He didn't pass judgment on anyone. But Jessica Lange's character, she does. They go off and take a complete innocent freak soul instead. And I don't know who that would be, because it's kind of hard to talk about the story as well, because I would obviously want realistic actors to play these characters like in season 4. And, I don't know necessarily who's around with those kinds of, I don't know what you want to call them. I guess, I don't know, impairments or supposed impairments. I don't know. And another thing, though, very frustrating thing, is that these characters who come to take a soul on Halloween night, they are going to be the only characters in the season who ever find out who killed these children. And that's another kind of interesting thing. You think about, that probably happens a lot, these ghosts that are around everywhere, they see stuff that no human can see or ever saw. And so they know the answers to everything, pretty much. We do not know why this strong man hates Dandy so much. Like, it's almost to the point of cartoon how much he hates his boss and how much he hates his show and everything. He's nice to everyone at the Freak Show, but he hates the shit out of his boss and wants to destroy him, destroy his show, ruin everything. It's really mean, and it's really hard to watch at points because of the stuff that he would do to sabotage him. But at the end of the season, we discover that Lobster Boy hired him, which would be perfect because that's Evan Peters, and then, they work together on Kick-Ass. You wouldn't necessarily see Evan Peters, but you would see his hand. You would see his, wooden hand holding a picture of his friend or something, and then he throws it in the fireplace or something. I don't know. But I thought that would be really cool to just have at the end of the season, and then if it was popular enough, you could bring it back. And obviously Lobster Boy, they're supposed to be antagonists. It's not supposed to be like in season 4, where it's like, oh, I guess they're just not really antagonists and protagonists. It's like, what are we doing here? We just built this whole story up of him being the hero, the leader. Remember that? Lobster Boy was supposed to be the hero. He was supposed to be the leader. He was supposed to be the hero. And it's like, when the fuck did that ever happen? It's time for that to happen. So in the finale, too, the strong man tries to assassinate him in a live show. But it backfires because the second Dandy clone had the first Dandy clone fill in for him as he was not feeling well. And so I thought that would be hilarious, that like the entire crowd forms an angry mob and gangs up and kills the strong man because they love the new Freak Show and Dandy so much. Now, what's funny and sad about this is that it is the first Dandy clone who gets killed, and he wanted to perform all season. He promised he'd do the same act. He'd wear fake regular hands. He would practice, and then in the finale, it's conveniently the time that Dandy number 2 gives him the chance. And it's almost kind of like a hint at maybe he knew that the guy was going to try to kill him, and he said, well, fuck this guy, I want to take over and get all of my money and be able to do whatever I want for my Freak Show. And the second Dandy returns in a magic act in another show, and that's that. Like, he just keeps on returning, and it's like, how many lives does this guy have, fucking Dandy? In season 2 and on, the question is, how long will it take for these two remaining clones to go crazy and become killers? Will either of them be tied to the murders the original or first clone committed? You know, it would be very, very good to see like this, because you know that they're like ticking time bombs. You know that this guy has mental problems. You know that he is going to go crazy at some point. And so what is going to set him off for each of them, and how is it going to affect these worlds, these characters, and these stories that would be built up over seasons? So that would be my idea for an American Horror Story spinoff. It's probably, I don't know, it's just wishful thinking that something like this would be made instead of something like a show with Kim Kardashian would be in it. So anyways, that's pretty much all I have for the idea. I didn't really want to think of too much else because I thought, you know, maybe it's already a little bit too much and it should be a little bit more simpler for the first season, but who knows. And please like this video, comment, tell me what you think of the idea, and if you think it sounds like a good American Horror Story spinoff. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest videos like this. Goodbye everybody, see you soon.